10 feet off a beam, walking in Memphis. But do I really feel the way I feel? Saw the ghost of Elvis on Union Avenue, followed him up to the gates of Graceland, and I watched him walk right through. Now security, they did not see him, they just hovered around his tomb. But there's a pretty little thing waiting for the king down in the jungle room. When I was walking in Memphis, I was walking with my feet 10 feet off a beam, walking in Memphis. But do I really feel the way I feel? They've got catfish on the table, they've got gospel in the air. Reverend Green, be glad to see you when you haven't got a prayer. Boy, you got a prayer in Memphis. Muriel plays piano every Friday at the Hollywood, and they brought me down to see her, and they asked me if I would do a little number, and I sang with all my might. She said, tell me, are you a Christian child? And I said, ma'am, I am tonight. Walking in Memphis, was walking with my feet 10 feet off a beam, walking in Memphis. But do I really feel the way I feel? Walking in Memphis, I was walking with my feet 10 feet off a beam, walking in Memphis. But do I really feel the way I feel? Put on my blue suede shoes and I boarded the plane. Touched down in the land of the Delta Blues, in the middle of the pouring rain. Touched down in the land of the Delta Blues, in the middle of the pouring rain.
Walking in Memphis. I think Mark Cohen had it just right. Told the story of Memphis. And in that story, we should be proud of some of the things that are being said. We play songs on a weekly basis to cause our listening audience to think. And in this case, to think about how positive Memphis is and what our role is as African Americans in this city. I'm Greg Grant, host of the Grant Brothers Bluff City Report. My co-host, Mr. Alonzo Grant, my brother. Hey,
how you doing, Greg?
Walking in Memphis?
Walking in Memphis.
10 feet off the ground.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's some kind of song. What do you think?
Yeah, you made that recommendation for that song, and I'm sure you had something in mind.
Absolutely.
That you might want to talk about today in terms of why that song is so important to us.
Well, I was looking at some news clippings the other week, and I'm always looking at historical stuff about Memphis around the country. Now, around the country, according to that song, Memphis is highly regarded. And we get the news every day that Memphis is no good. But we're highly regarded around this nation. I think Memphis is Well, I know Memphis is the #1 tourist attraction in the state of Tennessee.
Wow. Yeah.
And we're right up there in the top 5 with the White House being the second, third.
Second most visited house in America is Graceland.
It's Graceland. We're right up there. So we got a lot to be proud of in Memphis, and we've been a great part of that.
Absolutely.
Success in Memphis.
Yeah.
And we can't just let that slip away. We got a situation going on now in Memphis about Beale Street, and you can kind of talk about that, or where we are on that, that we need to address.
And 30 years ago, when you started Memphis Tours and Blue City Tours, along with Melvin Bledsoe,
Right.
went into Grant Transportation, and from there, Tenco Express, Airport Shuttle, and the number of people that we take to Beale Street and to Graceland annually. When you combine our companies together, as it was said, we take more people to Graceland than anybody else in the world.
Correct.
So when you combine these tour companies together in Memphis that we are affiliated with, we can brag on that fact.
We can brag.
Because we've been doing this for 30 years plus.
Exactly.
So Graceland and this kind of thing is not a new thing for us,
Right.
because we've been at it for a long time. And we take hundreds and thousands of people to Beale Street annually.
We just had which it ends today, a big, the Blues Awards that was here in Memphis, or started on Wednesday, Thursday, and went through today. And we have people from all over the world gravitating to Memphis and saying things like, I just can't believe I'm in Memphis. If I could just put my feet 10 feet away from Beale. And I mean,
It's amazing.
they think Memphis is the Mecca of Delta blues and all that. I mean, in high regard around the world. I got over 4,000. I have over 4,000 Facebook friends. People from all over the world that have, not to say that all 4,000 have come to Memphis, but I have tons and tons of Facebook friends that when they come to Memphis, we get to be Facebook friends because they're so intrigued about the blues and Memphis and our history. And all of that is about us, and we can't allow the powers that be to cut us out of our history.
And in fact, Memphis is the home of the blues.
Home of the blues.
And the birthplace of
rock
rock
and
and
roll.
roll. That's a strong statement.
That's a strong statement.
And every state in the Union have to respect that to the extent that they cannot steal what's germane to Memphis, Tennessee.
Right. I mean, when you deal with Chicago blues, when you deal with Louisiana blues, any kind of blues you want, it all came with the cradle
Yeah.
of the blues. And the blues was created by African Americans,
That's
people
right.
that look like us.
Right.
And not to say that we're sole ownerships or anything, but it's our history.
That's right.
And we need to be proud of that.
And when you look at Beale Street, that is the history of Beale Street.
That's the history. I mean, when they come to Memphis for Beale Street, they come in to see about us. And we can't forget that, you know, but the powers that be will try to make us forget that.
Right.
But if it wasn't for us, it wouldn't be no Beale Street.
Yeah, because Beale Street used to be a ghost town when we first got involved with Beale Street back in the 70s.
But even greater than that, when you think about the inception of Beale Street, who was it about?
Black
Our
folks.
father, our daddies and mothers, that's where they used to go,
That's right.
on Beale Street.
It was the only street
I mean,
that
for
black
shopping and for all the stuff that we needed, because it was the only place we could go. I mean, Memphis was a buzz. Beale Street was the buzz for black people,
Right.
period. No other place. I remember when our dad, when we was young, he said, where you going, on Beale Street? Because that's where everybody went.
That's right.
People of color.
That's right.
I mean, back in those days, white people didn't even go on Beale Street.
That's true. Now, Elvis did come on Beale Street.
Elvis was the
And
first
that's
guy.
how he got,
That's how he, well, I wouldn't say stole, but that's how he got all this stuff.
right.
I don't want to say steal, but you know, that's,
He came to Beale Street and he learned some stuff.
right,
And he used it. And at that time, he was a bridge to bridge the gap between Stax and Sun Studio.
well, when you think about it, back when Elvis, why and how did he get popular? Elvis got popular because he had what they call soul. Back then, when a lot of white people didn't have the soul, the moves. And I mean, we're old enough to remember that, and we're not talking about white people, but we remember when they couldn't even dance.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
I mean, the kind of way we dance.
Right.
You know, so when Elvis came on scene, he had that pop and the break and all that. He had the soul. That's
Right.
why everybody was just clamoring over him. He
Right.
had the,
Well, he was a novelty
Yeah.
to see a white guy perform like a black guy
right,
and get credits, ratings, and money,
right,
and became a big commercial success. I mean, right now, Beale Street is in battle as to who's going to run the street.
right.
And 21 Beale Street is trying to be involved, which is an African-American management team that's trying to preserve the history of Beale Street and not let it get swept away with these Johnny-come-lately commercial outlets who are using it as a mechanism to make money for themselves and excluding our history. But without us, it can't be successful.
And here's what we need to do. We got to put the call out in order to stop this move. The move afoot is to let the administration make the call about Beale Street. It's not the administration's property to make the call about it. It's city council's property to make the call about Beale Street. So we need to flood our phone lines, our city council people, and say that we want the council to make the call about who's going to manage Beale Street. The administration, the mayor, and all those people shouldn't be making the call. Our council people should be saying, I mean, this is who we want to manage the street. So the way it's lined up now, if we let it get away, the mayor's going to make the call.
Mm-hmm. But even if the mayor should make the call, he needs to make the right call.
Well,
This decision would have to be sanctioned by the city council. More importantly, if the city council, as you say, would get involved, they can alter the decision. They can speak up as 7 members, the majority, to say this is how we want it to go, and it will go that way.
well, and that's why I say, and we may differ a bit in that, I say it should be left in the hands of one man when the city council better reflects the demographics of Memphis.
Right,
Okay?
right.
So I say let it come from the council and the mayor has to sign off on it or whatever. And
Well,
I'm not
the way it
saying-
stands right now is the court order.
Right,
And it's not really 100% in the hands of the mayor. You have another part of the equation, which is the Beale Street Development Corporation. The judge ruled that that particular contract was valid. The balance of the contract, which might be 17 years left on that contract, the one that Rundle Catron protected while he was alive. So now you got the mayor and you've got his wife, Mrs. Catron, who's holding the reins of the Beale Street Development Corporation. Those two people are going to have a lot to do with who's going to get the management end of the contract. And I hear what you're saying. If our city council people will get courageous enough to stand up, they can turn the tide of the
right.
decision.
Because what happens is we shouldn't have to allow the courts to make the decision for our elected officials. I mean, the elected officials register on what the people think and feel.
Mhm.
But when you have to turn around and sue and have lawsuits and then one judge or 2 judges or whatever decide through the courts, then it's kind of messed up for us
Yeah.
as the people.
Well, in most cases, they're going to side with the money
Right,
and the developers.
exactly.
Now, you got to watch what's going on Bill Street. The move afoot at this particular time is for the developers, guys like Henry Turley and Jack Bells, and folks who run downtown who have all the property are positioning themselves on Bill Street
Right,
to be the managing arm of the street.
right,
Tri-State Bank was just purchased
right.
downtown, the main office facility at Beale Street in Maine,
Right.
the hottest corner in the city of Memphis. It was
Because,
purchased by the Belts
and you're
Corporation.
exactly right, because the internal move is to pressure the mayor into picking a development company or a real estate or property management company like the Belts. And their interest is not solely Beale Street, but to develop all the properties around Beale Street
Mhm.
and grow that up in a money-making way,
Right.
you know.
And they started off trying to eliminate certain undesirables by placing a price tag on entering the street.
Well, you know, the city council voted that down.
Just voted it down.
Beale
but-
Street bucks.
That's
they
right,
call it.
$10 in order to get on the street. It's a public street.
It's public street.
It belongs to everybody. Why should you pay money to go on Beale Street?
Well, when you pay your taxes, you pay to go on Beale Street. When you pay your property taxes, your city taxes, and all these absorbent fees that they put on us, you pay to go on Beale Street.
It's our street. So whether you're buying anything or not, if you want to walk down Beale Street, you can do as Mark Cohen suggested, that you can walk on Beale Street and have a good time by even just watching other people have a good time.
You pay to go into the Memphis Country Club. You pay to go into the Racket Club of Memphis. You pay because those are private clubs. But Beale Street is a public street
That's right.
that we pay for through our taxes and our fees that we pay.
Mhm.
So to go down to Beale Street and pull $10 out and then they turn around and say, well, we're gonna give you $7 back for some Beale Street bucks. What is that?
Just another money-making scheme where somebody can scheme off the,
You know.
skim off the top.
Right.
Cash money would never be accounted for.
Never be accounted for. You're gonna give me a ticket that I can go in somewhere that I should be able to go into for free,
That's right,
if that's the case.
right.
Do I have to pay to go into McDonald's?
Well, you give me
No more than
10,
when I get to the counter.
you give me $10 and I'll give you a ticket for $7.
Yeah, I give you a ticket.
What
for $7.
happened to the $3?
Okay.
And that's a major problem. And until we wake up as a people and begin, even if you don't get involved yourself individually, you can personally support the people that are involved.
Exactly. Exactly.
And State Representative Barbara Cooper is on top of this matter, and she's keeping it in the forefront of the folk who have to make this very, very important decision. And from what I understand in meeting with this group, they're well qualified, they're very knowledgeable of entertainment, street management, law, the whole 9 yards. These people are very educated and they're able to handle the management of Beale Street. So that's going to be very interesting in the next week or so when the mayor will make this decision. It has to be the right decision, because if he makes the wrong decision, it'll be the one that will come back to bite him in the
It
end.
should be, if he makes the wrong decision, and we're not telling the mayor or threatening the mayor or anything like that, but if he makes the wrong decision, it could be the decision to not allow him to get reelected.
But let me say this, even in his defense, and some people may not agree, but I think the mayor has done an outstanding job to date. Jim Strickland is moving forward, doing things that we couldn't get done with our previous administrations. I'm watching his tenure very closely, and I'm following him. And to date, I think he's done right by the citizens of Memphis, and he continues to do right by the citizens of Memphis. And I know the mayor is going to be listening to the voices of those who are concerned. That's the right decision, to allow this group, 21 Beale Street, to have a management responsibility on Beale Street. Wouldn't you agree?
Right. I agree, 100%. And people should take note of what we're proposing and putting forward. Because I think we have our hands on the pulse of the people. And the mayor and the powers that be need to make the right decision.
Absolutely.
Period.
And something that struck me in the process of Mark Cohen singing that song, somewhere in the lyrics, he says you have a prayer in Memphis.
You do.
Which is encouraging because some people don't feel like prayer works anymore. But prayer is always acceptable. Prayer is always proper. And if you live in Memphis and have the right idea and the right concept, you do have a prayer. When you say having a prayer, that means that you have opportunity.
And not only that, I think it even goes a little deeper than that. Faith without works is dead. I mean, we got to put the time in our prayer closet. And then it's the time that you have to get up off your knees and go to work.
That's right.
You know, I mean, it's like going in the prayer closet and asking God to give you a job.
Mm-hmm.
But if you never go out the house,
Mm-hmm.
they ain't going to come looking for you. You know?
You don't. So you don't put a resume together, and if you don't fill out an application,
Right.
the job is not coming
It's
your
not
way.
coming. So you got to get up, put your clothes on, and go out and put the time in.
Well, let me ask you this.
But God, through the prayer, now God can open up doors for you, but you got to physically put some time in.
On Beale Street, how many businesses down there would you say is black owned?
The only one, and somebody can correct me if I'm wrong on the call in if they choose, but the only one that I know is one, and it's called Il Etc., owned by one of our old classmates from Cobb High School, Clark.
Okay.
And
James Clark.
James Clark.
Okay.
And that's the only one that I know of. And it's like a dry goods
Retail store.
But a lot of people, when you're associated with Beale Street, say the people that go down there, they really don't tie to Beale Street, but historically, he's in the right place.
That's right.
You know, because that's what it was about, historically.
Uh-huh.
For us to go, that's where we went to places like his and A. Swab's. And I don't know if you remember, but there used to be a big department store on Beale Street called Harris Department Store.
I don't remember
Right
that.
down there where what's that place on the corner there?
Hard Rock?
No, the other place across from on the corner there where the cabs park.
On
Where they
Third.
have all the political stuff.
Oh, Third and Beale Street.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. At that particular
Yeah, that's where
cafe.
Harrison's
Really?
department store used to be.
Well, what about the old Daisy and the new Daisy? I
All
know
of
that Beale Street Development Corporation
Well,
runs the
It used to be a
old Daisy.
It used to be a theater on Beale Street called the Princess. You remember?
I kind of remember that. a little
Well,
bit.
the theaters, the old Daisy, the Princess, and all that was the only theaters we could go to until we came of age. When we turned 17, 18, 15, they allowed us to go to the Malco.
Mhm. But we had
Had to sit in the balcony.
Yeah, upstairs.
But otherwise, we went to the Princess. And you remember how the Princess used to be infested with rats and roaches and all of this and that because it had gotten ran
Oh,
down.
I tell you, we've
But
had a hard time.
Beale Street was the place where we had to go.
The dentist office was on Beale
On
Street.
Beale Street.
The lawyer's office on Beale Street. These are black folks, black operators. The pharmacist was on Beale
The
Street.
first black church on down further.
On Beale Street.
On Beale Street.
Church Park used to be an auditorium down there
Right.
on Beale Street. So our heritage, and even during the Cotton Carnival time, our carnival was
On
at the
Bill
foot
Street.
of Bill Street, where the park is, Church Park is
That's
now.
right.
That's where we-
float and all of them. That's what
Absolutely.
we with. I mean, but we can't, we're part of the blame, or we're 90% to blame if we allow this stuff to go down the drain. We can't do it.
I think we need to get with State Representative Barbara Cooper and pledge our support with her, because she's got her hands on the throttle. She knows which direction it's going in, and lend her that support. And one thing that we might ought to consider, we don't have not one black club on Bill Street. Is that one up here you saying? Black owned?
Not one. It's about, I think we spoke on it on the last show. It's about 6 or 7 white guys, I want to say, that owns everything on Bill Street.
Uh-huh.
You know.
So that's kind of where all the pressure is coming
Right.
from this handful.
Right. It's
Of
not
white
like
guys
it's not like if you got 20 places on Bill Street, it's not like it's 20 different individuals.
Okay.
It's about 6 or 7 people that own all of that stuff.
And they tell me the street brings in anywhere from $30 to $35 million a year.
Last time I checked, and it was about 4 years ago, and Kevin Kane is involved in it also. It was they made $11 million in profit after the 30 million or whatever it was that they took in. They made 11 million profit to split up between the 5 or 6 guys, however many it is. You know.
That's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
Well, one thing that I think we have a lot of folk out there that understand the nightclub business. Remember Wild Bill's?
Yeah.
You know, it was a club out in North Memphis, a blues type, juke joint
Right.
type place. And we would take customers over there. They'd trip over their shoelaces to get to Wild Bill in the heart of North Memphis. So if you have a product, you have a place, it's clean, it's safe, and you got good music as the blues, people will come to here and partake and be a part of your business operation.
That's right.
So why can't we get at least one black nightclub business on Bill Street in the midst of this management crisis that we have?
What we should make it our business to, I know we can get Barbara Cooper to come on the show, but we need to try and get the Bill Street, number 1 Bill?
21 Bill Street.
21 Bill. We should try and get those people to come on and state their case.
I think we can do that.
And publicize it that way.
Absolutely.
You know, I think that would be a good thing from our standpoint, and it'd be even better for them.
Okay. Well, we're going to take that challenge on to invite the state representative on set on next week.
Okay.
And we will allow her to contact the 21 Bill Street individuals and let them come and tell their story.
Right.
Because it is a story to be told. I'm Greg Grant, your host. This is my brother, Alonzo Grant. And on any given Sunday is going to be the Grant Brothers Bluff City Report. Thank you for watching.
Good night.